you only pity more. Same as my daddy and his daddy before. You hardly ever saw Granddaddy down here. He only come to town about twice a year. He'd buy 100 pounds of yeast and some copper line. Everybody knew that he made moonshine. Now the revenue man wanted Granddaddy bed, headed up a hollow with everything he had. For my time, but I've been told he'd never come back from Copperhead Road. Now Daddy ran the whiskey in a big black Dodge. Bought it at an auction at the Mason's Lodge. Johnson County Sheriff painted on the side. Just shot a coat of primer, then he looked inside. Well, him and my uncle tore that engine down. I still remember that rumbling sound. Well, the sheriff came round in the middle of the night. Heard a mama crying, knew something wasn't right. He's heading down to Knoxville with a weekly load. You can smell the whiskey burning down Copperhead Road. tan, carrying a cross, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. I like studying faces, parking lots, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. I like driving backwards in the fall, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. Things that I loved, things that I lost, things I held sacred that I dropped. I won't lie no more, you can bet. I don't wanna learn what I need to forget. I like ships in malls and radio talk, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. I like gospel music and candle blows, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. I like colorful clothing in the sun, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. I like hammering nails, speaking in tongues, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. The things that I loved, things that I lost, things I held sacred that I dropped. I won't lie no more, you can bet. I don't wanna learn what I need. Bend and shape me, I love the way you are. Slow and sweetly, like never before. Calm and sleeping, we won't stir up the past. So discreetly, we won't look back. Things that I loved, things that I lost, things I held sacred that I dropped. I won't lie no more, you can bet. I don't wanna learn what I need. I like throwing my voice and breaking guitars, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. I like playing in the sand, what's mine is yours, if it doesn't remind me of anything. Is there anybody listening? Is there anyone that sees what's going on? Read between the lines, criticize the words they're selling. Think for
Good morning and welcome back to the trailer park. Yay! I think everything launched. Let me see. Is the Rockfin up and running? Can you guys guess the theme of this morning's intro songs? Pretty easy to guess, right? I had to do a Chris Cornell. Of course, yesterday was the 8th anniversary of his passing. How heartbreaking was that? But so many of you guys recognized it in the chat. Yeah, that day broke me, man. I still have Facebook posts up in my memories about how heartbroken I was that day. What a heartbreak. It was like my youth died that day. Good morning, chat. Good to see everybody in here. Jilly Love's in here along with Kate. Hi, Kate. Yeah, Kate, you were a badass biker. That's right. Rad Angel. Yeah, you loved the cover. That Copperhead Road cover was amazing. I loved the kind of, Irish twist to it. It was good. Kill Your E-Gray Gross. Good to see you this morning. Wolfie's hanging out. Good morning. Who else is in here? I got Wolfie. Mouse SF. Good to see you. Lady Alex, you're listening. Lady Alex says, nurse tip, men, please ejaculate as much as possible as this is good for your prostate health. There you are. You've had a tip for the day. And I got Kill Your E-Gray Gross. Catalytic Centaur, good to see you. Hi, Nat. Nat, you cleaning out the kitty boxes? Yeah. The freaking cats, my gosh. I have so many cats now. I've turned into a crazy cat lady. Some of you are on both channels. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. I know I saw Jody in here. Hi, Jody. Jody, I don't know what I'd do without the stuff you sent me. We'll talk about it eventually. And let's see. Anthony. What's up, Anthony? Anthony, we got a surprise for you on Saturday. Join us. It's my birthday. We're going to have fun over at Beauty and the Boomer. And I got Nat. I got Mouse. Let's see who else is in here. Grapentine. Hi, Chiron. Chiron's here. Robbie, what's up, Robbie? Robbie Burns is in the chat. Did I get Rat Angel? I think I did. These are hard. You're scrolling backwards as you guys are talking, so it's hard to keep up. Mastermind, good morning, Mastermind. How come we haven't had any new Wi-Files? I'm really sad about that. I miss AJ and Hecklefish. Patty Steiner 82, welcome, Steinan. Yeah, and I got Lady Alex. You guys are pouring in. It's hard to keep up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Wake and Bakey. Yeah. Cold Fusion Gaming. Wow, you're up this early. Good to see you. Let's check out over on the Rumble. Vaholics is hanging out there with Ghost Start and Mr. Worthless Eater. Good morning as everybody's pulling in. It is a Monday morning. We got a lot to talk about. Joe Biden joined the C Club. And was he already there and he knew it? I think so. So how is everybody on this Monday morning? Everybody out there getting your gardens in? I hope you are. Mine's dying already. I spent so much time and energy on it, and it's just been unseasonably cold in the Northwest, and we're still using our heater, which is crazy because normally we shut it off the beginning of May, normally the end of April. Yeah, it's just weird. Hi, Steve G. What's up? What's up? I got a good show wrote for you. Oz helped me out like he always does. So let's just get into it because we got a big, long show. You guys know you can always help me out, help me pay the bills here. I just had to pay $30 to Google for our freaking YouTube so we don't have commercials. We hate those pop-ups. I had one in my intro. So you guys, thank you so much. You guys have been such a huge help at making sure that we can cover those costs. Our Patreons over at Beauty and the Boomer, you make it possible for all these shows to happen, and I can't thank you guys enough. And honestly, I just can't thank all of you guys who have donated to my GoFundMes. I have had 2 of them. And, all the other ways that you've helped me out through the PayPals, the Cash Apps, all the ways you guys donate to buy me a coffee. As you guys know, I did a big cancer update this week. I had a lot of testing done the last few weeks, and I'm doing really good. We have no active sign of disease, so nothing new. I have a lot of inflammation and arthritis from the treatments, from the immunotherapy. And it's terrible. I got to tell you guys, I was like, what the hell when it first started hitting me the last couple of months. I'd say about 8 weeks now, but it's gotten really bad because I've had I've now had 3 treatments of immunotherapy. So what it's doing is it's amping up my immune system to attack the cancer cells, but it's also attacking healthy cells like my joints. So I've got into an autoimmune response, which is making all of my hands swell up, my wrists. It hurts when I wake up in the morning. I can't even move my hands. It takes like a half hour of putting cream on them, THC cream, and working them out to get them to where I can move. Oh my God, when the old ladies cry about arthritis, it's freaking real. I'm telling you, it's some of the worst pain I've ever dealt with. But Jody, you have helped me out tremendously. You sent me a little, what was it? It was like a mummy. It was a little squeeze toy, and I took it out of the little toy thing, and I use it for my hands, and it really helps get my fingers to work again. So thank you guys. You guys are always sending me the coolest stuff, and I can't even tell you how much it's helped out. You know, Ginger Liberty sent me these wonderful compression leg cuff things that are heated, and they they like massage your legs. They've helped so much with the swelling in my legs and my feet. You guys are always sending me these awesome little miracle things. So, you know, I don't know if it's the immunotherapy that's really holding this off, the amount of chemo I did, the amount of radiation that I took, or if it is the regimen of homeopathic and natural stuff I'm on, including Finbin and ivermectin. I don't know. I can't tell you, but something's working. So I'm going to keep taking it all. That's all that, I'm going to keep taking the soursop. I'm going to keep taking the turkey tail mushroom. I'm going to keep taking the vitamin B17. I mean, I've had so many people reach out to me with amazing studies, and I'm just trying to do it all. So your guys' donations have helped me make sure that I can get these meds, because some of them are really expensive. Like the B17 is super expensive. The D10,000s, those are expensive. And then I won't even tell you how much the Finbin and the other stuff costs. I mean, I'm pulling that stuff out of India, and it's spendy. So you guys are keeping me alive. So I'm going to keep doing these shows as long as I'm alive. And fair use. We are on YouTube for what it's worth. They'll slap me around, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that I word on here. We used to not be allowed to, but now that Trump's in office, I think I can. You guys see my new sticker? It says I did that. My girlfriend gave me a whole handful of them. I want to stick them places. I just haven't figured out where yet. Anyways, okay, I think we got all of the business out of the way. Good morning, Oz. Thank you so much for all your help with the deck. Oz, I was busy yesterday with the grandkids, so Oz did a lot of throwing stuff on the decks. B-52s are cheap. Yeah, they're really cheap. I know where they've got a whole freaking yard full of them in Arizona. Have you ever seen that? The junkyard for all the old planes. It's in Tucson. That's amazing. It's mind-blowing. Jilly, thank you so much for dropping the Buy Me a Coffee link. You also can find all of the other links in the description box down below, of course. Okay, let's get to the story of the hour. I can't bury the lead. I won't bury the lead. I'm not Jimmy. Former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. So doctors discovered the cancer in Joe Biden last week after urinary symptoms and detected a prostate nodule. What do you guys think? You think they just discovered this last week? As advanced as it is, because they say it's really advanced. So let's see what the news is telling us, because we have to listen to what the news is telling us.
We are following breaking news right now. Former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. A statement from the personal office of the former president says that while the cancer represents, quote, a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. For more on this, I want to bring in ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang, along with emergency medicine physician Dr. Stephanie Widmer. Selena, I want to begin with you. What more do we know about this diagnosis?
We're learning this from President Biden's personal spokesperson. I just want to read to you this statement that says he was diagnosed with this aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to the former president's bones. The statement reads the following, that quote, while this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options. Now, this comes after on Tuesday, the president's spokesperson had announced that doctors found a small nodule on the 82-year-old's prostate after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. Now, President Biden had ended his more than 5 decades in public service in January, leaving office as the oldest president in history after abruptly dropping out of the presidential race last summer. Now, former President
Oh, okay. Well, it cut off. Anyways, there you are. That is the official statement on it. It is aggressive. It is in his bones, which means he's probably had it for quite a while, I would guess. I find it very, very fishy that the highest office in the country, who has a personal physician, like they didn't know that he was having cognitive issues either. Remember, he was sharp as a tack. Yeah, he was sharp as a tack. I think they hid a lot of shit from us. I think that they knew this a long time ago, and I think that there's proof out there. We'll get to it. So what did Donald Trump have to say about this? Donald Trump and Melania said, we are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery. It's hard to have sympathy. It really is. I mean, this is the same guy who authorized the bombing of the only cancer center in Gaza. Like, I'm sorry. You guys know I have cancer. I'm very sympathetic to people who have cancer. I mean, my heart breaks, but this one, maybe call me cold. Maybe it's the Prozac I'm on. I don't know. But it's hard for me to have sympathy. He doesn't have sympathy for the tens of thousands of children that he's bombed or authorized bombing. It was just another day to him. So does he even know, though? That's my question. Does he even know? Because come on, cognitively, he wasn't there for the last 2 years. At least the last 2 years. I mean, Oz and I had bets that he wouldn't make it 6 months, but he did. So did Joe Biden tell us 2 years ago that he had cancer? I think he might have. We just played this off like Joe Biden rambling like he always did, saying stupid shit that didn't make sense. But when you look back on it, it makes sense now. Check this out.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
He just said that's why I and so many others have cancer. Did he know? I think he knew. I think they knew, and I think they covered it up because they didn't know who they were going to run in the next election, and so they just told him to keep it fucking quiet. And, his mind was so absent that he let it slip. And they just played it off. The media always plays it off. I think that he probably, come on. There had to have been markers in his blood. He said it. I know. Kate's like, what? Yeah, he said it. He knew. I think he knew. I think Jill knew. She's a doctor, right? Isn't she a doctor? I think that the White House physician knew. I think that they just were trying to keep it under wraps, and they were trying to get Harris elected is what they were trying to do. And they were doing that via Biden being the head of the ticket because she wasn't strong enough. And then when she started tanking so badly in the polls, because their plan was that they would win, and then he would step back, right? He would announce he had cancer and, he needs to go do treatment. Now Harris is your president. But she sucks so bad. Finally, he just said, I'm not going to run. I'm not going to continue to run. And then put her as head of the ticket. That's my conspiracy. I'm allowed to say that. I think that's what happened. So it's hard to have any sympathy for this guy, especially with shit like this. So tax filing reveals a Biden cancer charity spent $10 million on salaries, 0 on research. That's right. Big Pharma doesn't want any research done on cancer. They hardly ever put any money forward towards research. And this is the way it's gone for decades. Because if they research this stuff, right, and they start curing it, well, then they start losing out on the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they are making per cancer patient. Especially if they find cheaper ways to cure it, like, the things that I'm taking. What do you guys think? We've heard how much, most of the money that is given to research is donated. It's not coming from federal grants. Our government barely, more of it comes from federal grants than it does from Big Pharma. Big Pharma does not fund any research. Let's just be clear about that. They don't fund any fucking research. They don't want a cure for any of this shit. Look at how much my treatments have cost. My radiation was almost $300,000 from what I've been told by my doctors. Chemo, $150,000. Yeah. And then that doesn't count all of the lab work, all of the testing. Every MRI I have, every brain scan, every bone scan, every doctor's visit. I've probably cost close to $1 million to get me to where I am today. But hey, I'm here and I'm thankful for it. So, whatever. How long do you guys think he'll last? That's what we should be taking bets on. How long do you think he'll last before he's gone? Is this going to be like a Freddie Mercury thing where Joe Biden passes next week? Is it that bad? Is it that advanced? They say it's hormone sensitive, which we don't talk about it and nobody really does, but hormones play a huge part of cancer diagnosis. You guys know that just before I got diagnosed with cancer, I slapped on a hormone patch that my doctor prescribed me because I was having hot flashes like I'm having right now. And we thought it was menopause. So as soon as I put that hormone patch on, within 2 days, my feet swelled up huge. Like, what the hell is going on? I went to the emergency room. They ran labs. They said, everything looks okay. We don't know what is going on. And they sent me home. And 3 weeks later, I was in the ICU. And these tumors were just aggressively growing. I had fed those tumors with that hormone patch. So, it's hard to say. And none of my doctors will admit it. When we talk about it, they all go, like, that's interesting. And they'll note it in my chart. But nobody goes, yeah, giving you that hormone patch was a bad idea. So, I see as I'm scrolling through, with TikTok, whatever. I don't TikTok, but all the shit on TikTok always ends up in YouTube and Facebook and all the other places. I see that they're really pushing hormone replacement therapy for women, which they never used to. They used to say, no, you can't take hormones. It'll give you cancer, right? Well, now they don't even talk about that. They just go, oh, you're having hot flashes and you're moody? Go get some hormones. And I am pushing for doctors to be testing. If you hand a woman over 40 a prescription of hormones, you best be looking if she has cancer genes. Because it's been proven over and over and over that the hormones feed the cancer and in a lot of different instances. So, yeah. You have the hormone patch. The hormone patch saved your life. Yeah, so for some people, it works. I was hoping it was going to work for me. Oh, my God, I came home from the ICU and threw that whole thing away. Like, hormones when you don't pay them. Yeah. They do. The whores, they do moan when you don't pay them. That's a funny joke, Salty. Yeah, they do work for some people. So I'm just saying, if you're going to get on them and you have a history of cancer in your family, which I did. My grandma had breast cancer. My dad had lung cancer. I should have been pushing for a chest x-ray. I should have been testing. I should have been pushing for testing. So just be responsible about it. Be informed. Be informed about everything. I always tell everybody that. Be informed. Okay, let's move on. I don't want to talk about icky Joe Biden all day. We knew they were lying to us. They always lied to us. So I think they knew about this for a long time. And I'm sure he'll get world-class treatment, unlike so many Americans who are having to sell off their whole entire lives to pay for cancer treatment. So whatever. Let's talk about the weather. Oh my God, it is tornado season, and Tornado Alley is just getting wrecked daily. I don't even know how many tornadoes hit last night because I the last few nights I've been watching Ryan Hall, y'all. I love Ryan Hall, y'all. He's the best weather on YouTube, if you don't know, especially for, severe weather. Anyways, so many tornadoes ripping through Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. I think the last stat I heard was 28 dead, but that was yesterday. So who knows how many more were killed over the night. And nobody talks about this anymore. Back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, when tornadoes came, it was a big deal. CNN was out there on the ground covering it and always talking about it. It's a blip on the news anymore. This severe weather that is ripping America apart. These are our brothers and sisters. These are my fellow family. These are the trailer park, man. Because we know tornadoes always go for the trailer park. Why do they always go for the trailer park? A lot of people say it's because of the heat that's conducted from the metal that's in a trailer park. I don't know about that, but I just know that, it is scary as hell if you've ever been through one of these fucking storms. And can you imagine this coming for you in the middle of the night when you're dead asleep? I can't. So I brought a couple of different videos. Check out this devastation. That is just crazy. I mean, 1 second your house is there, the next second it's in splinters. It's so scary. I think I have, let's see. 28 dead, 500,000 without power as deadly storms, tornadoes sweep across central eastern U.S. And like I said, I wrote this deck yesterday, so who knows how many more over the night. And I just got to tell you, my thoughts are with them. Oh my gosh, this is so scary. Look at that devastation. Insane. Where is President Trump and Air Force One landing to go tour the devastation that these Americans are facing? Where's FEMA? Where is all of the celebrities raising money for these people? They're just forgotten about, right? Trailer park got hit by a tornado. That's April. That's May. That's the way it is. They don't fucking care. Check out the formation on this tornado. I've always been obsessed with tornadoes. I don't even know why. I literally chose to drive through Tornado Alley twice now during tornado season, just in the hopes that I would see one. I don't even know why. That's just crazy. Well, I mean, where was I going to go hide? Under an overpass? Speaking of that, have you guys seen the new Twister? It was okay. I mean, it was pretty much like the first Twister. Just new actors and better, graphics, I think. But it's over on Netflix if you haven't seen it. But check out the formation. And can you imagine at night, the light flashes and you see this coming for you?
Oh my God, it's just taking shit out with it. You see it blowing up all the transformers.
Where do you run and hide if you're living in a damn mobile home? A trailer park, a lot of these places, like I lived in Louisiana, and you don't have basements in Louisiana. You dig a fucking 1 foot hole and that fucker fills with water. There's very few basements in Louisiana. So, or cellars, right? You get cellars in the Midwest, Kansas, Missouri, those places. But if you're further down south, Arkansas, Louisiana, yeah, you ain't digging a hole. You literally have to just go for the room in your house that has the most structural walls on the outside of it. So, like, get in a closet in the middle of the house, or a bathtub. Get in a bathtub with a mattress over it. I mean, there just isn't. There's so you can't run, you can't hide from these. Tornado wants to kill you. It's gonna come kill you, basically. The IUD nearly killed you, Julie. Oh my gosh, yeah. Fucking, I was on Depo-Provera. I was one of those very first people back in the 90s that they gave that Depo-Provera shot to, which was a birth control shot. And I only stayed on it for like maybe 6 months because I gained like 20 pounds. I got a shit ton of acne. And I was hormonal and ornery as shit. And I went to my doctor and I was like, a birth control, yeah, no man wants to come near me. And so I went off of it. But now there's all these lawsuits for freaking cancer. So, yeah, Big Pharma, they just don't care. My first wife got pregnant on Depo. No way, Master. Really? Mastermind? Yeah, that shit was, oh man, it fucked with my hormones way too much. I was like, I'm done. Wisconsin has basements in its trailer parks. Well, that's good. Yeah, we have a house. This is a kind of off topic, but we have a mobile home down the road that they jacked up into the air and literally built like a whole level underneath of it. I've never seen anything like it. I thought, oh my God, that's so trailer park and redneck. I love it. Like, I want to jack up my house now and build a second and third floor. Capitalism kills, Shale. Yes, capitalism kills because it's all about the bottom line and the profit. We know that. Oh, so sad. Let's see. This was St. Louis. This was during the day. Can you imagine being in an apartment and instead of running for your life, you decide to stand out on your balcony and film? Yeah, time to go. Time to go. These people, we see these videos of people that don't have any fucking common sense. Like, I know you're trying to get a video that's going to get you 1 million views, but Jesus criminy, you're putting your life at risk, man. There's a time to run. So, you know, we've always had tornadoes in the United States, but how much of it is because of what they're spraying on us that's making these so much stronger and so much bigger? I don't know. You got a question. And don't tell me they're not real because, God damn it, they fucking keep admitting it. We just over in the UK last week, they told everybody, hey, we're going to start chemtrailing and blocking out the sun because we need to cool shit off, right? Which is weird because it's unseasonably cold here. But anyways, I don't know. I mean, if you still at this point look up and you see those crisscrosses across the sky and you think that that's just a bunch of planes up there flying to Alaska or something, you are out of your freaking mind. I mean, I just want to shake people. I have family members that tell me I'm crazy still. Like, God, you know, I want to tell them, listen to the news, but don't listen to the news, you know. Stop. You're seriously insane. What is this? Oh, help your neighbors. Help your neighbors. So when a 93-year-old neighbor lives next door by herself, and you go get her when you hear the tornado sirens going off, this is all we can do is help one another, you know, especially before and after these hit. If I lived in a severe weather area, this is what I would do. Aw, that's so kind. That's how we have to be as human beings. This is what's going to save the human race. Yeah, it ain't going to be bug out bags and underground shelters. No, it's going to be compassion and empathy for one another and trying to help one another. You know, I watch a lot of the planning of bug out bags and shit like that. It doesn't matter how much you are prepared because you don't know what circumstance you're going to find yourself in. It's going to be who has smarts and wits about them and who has humanity and compassion, I think, is what's going to save the human race. Oz dropped this on the deck. It's a little blurry, but I think I'll figure it out. You guys saw the Brooklyn Bridge got hit by the Mexican Navy? What? This was insane. This was happening on Saturday night while Oz and I were live. So watch the mass of a Mexican Navy ship crash into the Brooklyn Bridge with 200 passengers on board. And they're not just on board like they're down on the bottom of the ship. They're up in the mast holding hands, like spread apart, like at every level of the mast as it hits the Brooklyn Bridge. But you know what I found? And I've watched this from every angle. You know what I found so crazy? The cars on the Brooklyn Bridge, they barely slowed down for this shit. Only a few of them tapped their brakes. And then when it was actually hitting the bridge, okay, they stopped. But only for like 30 seconds. And then as soon as they knew that that boat was under the bridge, they just kept going. Total New Yorkers for you. Yeah, let's check it out.
It's totally crushing. Look, this.
Look at the cars, though.
Oh my god.
What is going on?
Yeah, the bridge wasn't even backed up as that was happening. I mean, a couple of blocks of people hit their brakes, but that's crazy. Sadly, I want to say 2 were injured, or 2 were killed, and 20 or 17 were injured. Let's see what this video is. Oh, no, this is a picture. So you can see the people hanging off of it. Look at this. Look at how many people are just hanging off the sails for their lives. That is crazy. Turns out that the boat lost power. They couldn't control it is what happened. This ship, I should say. It's a ship. It's not a boat. Yeah, it lost power. But if it lost power, why were all the lights still on? Seems weird. I don't know. I listened to Agenda Free TV covering this story, but I never saw the video. Yeah, the video is pretty crazy. I saw it as we went live on Saturday night, and I was like, what the hell is going on there? Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma gets hit hard with tornadoes for sure. That's so bad. Those cars are trying to get off the bridge as fast as they can. Yeah, I would. I hate, we have the Tacoma Narrows, which is one of the highest bridges in the country that we go across. One time I had to go across it, and a big flatbed truck had dropped some kind of big piece of equipment, like a motor, onto the deck of the bridge, and it literally punctured a hole in the middle of the deck. And they were still allowing cars to go by, and you could see straight through down to the bottom. So you can see the water as we were going by. It scared the shit out of me. Yeah. Plus, we have the Hood Canal floating bridge, and both of these bridges that I have to cross in our area have blown down at one time or another. So yeah, the Hood Canal Bridge is one of the longest floating bridges in the United States, and that's the only way to access the peninsula that I live on. And then, of course, there's the Tacoma Narrows, which is the only way to get over to Seattle, unless you take a ferry, which they got their own freaking problems, let me tell you. They're old, they're falling apart. Washington State hasn't put shit for money into our ferry system, and it shows. It's kind of sad because our ferries were nice and beautiful in the 80s and early 90s, and now the maintenance has just gone to shit. We haven't got new boats in a long time. I was kind of embarrassed. We had friends come out of town last month, and we took them on the ferry, and I was a little embarrassed that it was such a rusty old tugboat. Anyways, let's talk about Fed Flanders. That's right. Ian Carroll, he got busted wearing a Kabbalah bracelet. We have seen way too many sketchy people sporting this bracelet not to call it out. Yeah, it seems a little strange. And what the hell is happening to him? He looks like he's had his soul sucked out through the back of his head. Is it just me? He's not looking too healthy. Something's up. Anyways, he tried to say, haha, you guys are stupid conspiracy theorists, and my girlfriend's dad gave us these bracelets or something like that. And here's the craziest part, and I didn't bring a close-up of it. It's got the all-seeing eyeball on it. I don't know. It's a love bracelet for him and his woman, and it's got an all-seeing eye on it. Are we shocked that Fed Flanders, which we've called him out for being sketchy for months now, probably years. Yeah, just seems a little strange. And then he tells people to go look into things, but then when you question him, he's like, you guys are crazy conspiracy theorists. Just seems weird. Bella Lugosi says Tacoma Narrows collapse due to recondition. The first thing that showed you in engineering school. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was crazy. The galloping gurney back in the 40s. It was in the 40s, I'm pretty sure, right? I've seen a lot of construction. I saw the construction during the 30s. I've seen videos of it. And then I saw construction during the 50s. The day that the Hood Canal Bridge blew down, I was 5 years old, and we had a motorhome. And the whole family piled into the motorhome, and we drove the 45, 50 miles down to the bridge. And I remember us being down at the little park and seeing it blown down, because I remember I learned to tie my shoes that day. But my dad actually got a job right after that, welding the decks for the new bridge. So somewhere under the Hood Canal Bridge is mine and my brother's names. My dad put our names in concrete down there. But that bridge still creeps me out. All bridges creep me out, man. And what does it take? An earthquake and they're down? Yeah. Creepy. Let's see. Let's hear what Trump has to say. Okay, so this is the Barbie doll thing. We haven't got to talk about this because I've been gone for a while, and I'm trying to get back into the swing of it, guys. I promise I'm going to be a little bit more reliable and consistent with my Monday morning shows as long as I don't crash. I hate writing a show, doing really good, and then for some reason my internet pisses out. That's so irritating. Anyway, so a couple of weeks ago, Trump was asked about the tariffs, and he said, hey, look, if your kid only gets 2 Barbie dolls instead of 30 Barbie dolls, it's not going to be that bad of a thing. So let's hear. He got asked a follow-up question about it. Oh, come on, just play.
Said this week got a lot of attention. You were at your cabinet meeting. You said, quote, I'm going to quote what you said, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls.
Yeah.
And maybe the 2 dolls will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. Are you saying that your tariffs will cause some prices to go up?
No, I think the tariffs are going to be great for us because it's going to make us rich.
But you said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls. Because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have 3 dolls instead of 30 dolls, are you saying Americans could see empty store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have 30 dolls. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
Yeah, well, I don't think a cantankerous orange billionaire needs 20 casinos. He could have 1, he could have 2, but, and I love when he says, it's going to make us rich. Who's us? You got to turn your pocket? Because it sure is not the American fucking people. It ain't making any of us rich. It's making you and your billionaire friends rich. So, Trump's been hanging out with his buddies in Saudi Arabia because he's closer to them than anybody else. Well, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls. The recipient of the super luxury Boeing 747-8 jumbo jet, is it really his? I don't know. They're playing it off that it's going to stay with the Department of Defense because the Department of Defense needs a new jet. At least we didn't have to pay for it, right? And I promise you there's no pay for play here because they don't do that. Not the Trump administration. That's more something like the Clinton administration and the Clinton Foundation would do. Come the fuck on. Come on. This is totally grease your palm, whatever. We brought a video on Saturday where the Saudi foreign minister says, oh, no, we wouldn't do anything illegal. If it's illegal, we wouldn't do it. Okay, sure you wouldn't. You don't need so many dolls and you don't need so many planes. Yeah. Is it really his plane? I don't know, but still, just the stupidity is mind-boggling. It hurts. It's so stupid. It burns. The stupidity burns. But you know what? The Democrats don't have any right to fucking talk because all the Democrats have been out there screaming. Even some Republicans, even Nikki Haley was out there screaming about this shit. Michelle Obama says someone is going to have to give up a piece of their pie so someone else can have more. $3 million mansion. Let's see, $7 million Hawaii mansion, Martha's Vineyard, Washington mansion, Chicago mansion. Is she going to give up a piece of her pie? No, that's why she's getting the fuck off pie for the day. Of course, 1 cup of no one cares, a dash of kiss my ass, some fuck yous, and a pinch of blow meat, stir and shove straight up your Obama ass. Fuck all the way off with this. Somebody's going to have to give up a piece of their pie. Is it going to be you? No, I don't think it's going to be you. They equally suck. Let's talk about Cokegate. What are we calling this? Does this have an official name yet? I don't know. Macron and what is this? The Turkey foreign minister, I want to say. The Turkish foreign minister. They got caught. And now check this video out and you tell me if you haven't seen this video. I'm sure many of you have, but I know a few of you probably haven't. Now you're going to see on the table that Macron has what looks like a crumpled up baggie in front of him. You can see his hands kind of on it. And the guy to his left has what looks to be like a Coke spoon in front of him as they kind of get ambushed by this video crew. I don't know who this crew is, but they're trying to play it off like it was a rolled up tissue. Now, my question is, if it is just a used tissue, why did he palm it the way that he did and then do a handoff and stick it in his pocket? I have Kleenex laying around my desk all over the place, and I would not palm it and try to hide it from you. I'm a human being. I have to wipe my nose. We all have allergies, so this doesn't make sense. Let's look at it. See, there's the bag. There's the spoon. Oop, pick up the spoon. Oop, there's the bag. And see, he kind of he rolls his eyes like, oh shit. Oh shit. And then he kind of smirks and now he's palming it and putting it in his pocket. I don't know. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I know a good time when I see one. And that looked like they were having a good time. And we've talked in depth about the Coke usage by our elected officials globally, right? Zelensky. I looked everywhere the other day for my meme of Zelensky with the big coked out eyes, and Google has changed their format, and so I can't find half my shit anymore. I did find it, but then I forgot to put it on the deck. My bad. But isn't it ironic that these two had just came from a meeting with none other than Zelensky, who we know loves it. You know who else that we've caught who we think is using is Jacinda, right? Yeah, she likes it too. They get all sniffy McSniffleson. So here's a close-up of the bag, the tissue. That is not a tissue, that is a bag. You can clearly see the plastic of it. Can't you see? I can see the plastic. No updates, NVIDIA, sorry. What do you guys think? We see it. We see it for what it is. Come on. You're not fooling any of us. Just own it. Just own it. And let's take a walk down memory lane at some of our favorite coked out moments by these officials. Of course, here's Zelensky.
Намагався Просто так говорити буду сісфаєр повинні бути на овали, бо ми їх медіатор, як третя сторона, яка має довіру. Бо в минулому там, що сказав президент Байден у інтерв'ю, він мені сказав про цю свою мрію.
They found medical grade white. Well, here I brought you guys a little clip of that. They found medical grade cocaine in the White House. Everybody loves medical grade cocaine. If you've ever been to a ear, nose, and throat specialist and had anything done on your sinuses, they use medical grade cocaine to numb your sinuses up. Yeah, it's still crazy that they do that in this day and age, but they do. Come on, play. Remember, this was 4th of July. That's loud. Oh, yeah. Hunter Biden looking totally coked out of his mind, but they have no idea where that came from in the White House. We don't know. We don't know who that was. We all knew who it was. We called it out in real time who it was. They just won't admit it. Comey's being called out. Oh God, we hate Comey. Comey's such a slimy little shit. When he pulled that shit back in August of 2016, where he said Hillary Clinton didn't have any ill intent, so that's why the FBI was not gonna arrest her. Nothing but loathing for this man. And I will always have nothing but loathing for this man. So anyways, he tweets out this cryptid post, much like Tom Hanks. You know how Tom Hanks is always putting weird ass fucking posts out there? Well, now Comey is. And it says SG47. I think that's what it says. Or does it say 8647? Anyways, read it however you want. The Reddit, what is it? The posters just went freaking crazy. Former FBI director James Comey posted a cryptic message calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. He needs to go to jail. Do you agree? What do you guys think? Tell me what this means. I don't understand. So Comey took the post down, and he later said, I posted a picture of some shells that I found on the beach that I thought were interesting. And of course, the internet had to go crazy with it and make it a conspiracy theory. Like, of course, the QAnoners were going to go crazy with this shit. What do you think? Like, come on. He knew damn well. Put Comey in jail now. I wouldn't be bad with that. But are they arresting anybody? Come on, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, they all ran on, we are going to go after these criminals. We are going to take them down. And as much as I think they're all criminals, I was like, hey, it's cool if they take some of these criminals down. I'd be okay with that. Take some of the left's criminals down, and then next turn, they can take the right criminals down. Okay, but no criminals have gotten taken down. None. Nobody. They're not looking into shit, right? We're going to talk about the Diddy case as we get into, hey, Hollywood, or Hollywood, go fuck yourself, but nobody's going down in that one either. And we're getting no celebrity names. I'm telling you, no celebrity. I'm finding it boring. I was over at my son-in-law's yesterday, and he was talking about it, and I was like, yeah, it's boring. He's like, yeah, it's really boring, right? It's all shit we've already known and heard anyways. So Tulsi Gabbard decided to weigh in on this. Let's see what Tulsi had to say. Because Tulsi's just a useless or useful idiot for these guys anymore. And, she's over on Fox News every other day. And if anybody has a reason to hate Comey, it's Tulsi. Because remember how she got treated by the DNC in 2016. And that was right around the time that she resigned as vice chair and stepped down from the Democrats. So, yeah, let's see what she has to say. Oh, I rubbed my nose. I must be coked out. Anyways, let's hear.
Do you believe Comey should be in jail?
I do.
She does.
Any other person with a position of influence that he has, people who take very seriously what a guy of his stature, his experience, and what the propaganda media has built him up to be, I'm very concerned for the president's life. We've already seen assassination attempts. I'm very concerned for his life. And James Comey, in my view, should be held accountable and put behind bars for this.
For what? posting pictures of a shell. What is she talking about? That was totally taken out of context. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm just here to show you what I see on the internet. I don't. Shanda's having flashbacks. Yeah, I was totally skunk lady. Oh my gosh. You know, she's doing that shit on purpose. She's gray. I'm gonna tell you, she's gray. So what they do is, you guys can see, I have a skunk patch right here. Mine's white and mine's damaged. I was a domestic violence abuse survivor, and I had my head split open by one of my exes, and it took all the pigment from my hair right here. And you can see it's much whiter here than it is over here. So if I wanted to do a skunk like her, I would literally have to pull this out and tape it off and wrap it up and then dye the rest of my hair to have that out there. So she's intentionally wearing that. I mean, everybody's like, oh, it's natural. Yeah, it's natural to a point, guys. I mean, it might naturally be there, but she makes sure that it stays there. She's not wearing her hair gray like mine. Oh my gosh. My kids are trying to talk me into dyeing my hair again. They like mom as a blonde. Actually, they tried to talk me into dyeing it brown yesterday, but they were like, oh, you should go back to brown when you were younger. It's like, guys, I don't want to dye my hair right now, so I'm not going to dye it yet. But I do have an identity crisis going on because I don't feel like me. I don't look like me. I mean, my face looks like me, but all of my pictures, like when Oz does the thumbnails and he does it with the long blonde hair, I'm like, Oz, that's not me anymore. Like I'm just in an identity crisis, and it's because of all of the media that's out there of me for years looking the way I used to. I don't know. It's a weird place to be in, but hopefully I'll find my identity again. You know, for a while I was scared I wasn't going to live long enough to have an identity again, but I think I'm going to. Anyways, Senator Mike Lee, Utah, just introduced a bill that would make all porn a federal crime. It would be a Republican, right? It's always a Republican. Republicans are always the worst about wanting to know what's going on in your fucking bedroom and to control it. And they're always the worst at doing the bad shit. I'm just calling it out like I see it. It looks blonde on here. Yeah, it's white. It's really, really white and super curly. They're called chemo curls, and apparently the medicine like curls your hair. Like they are such tight curls. It's so crazy. Anyways, we're getting off topic. From Utah, of course. Yeah, yes, Wesley, from Utah. It would be from Utah. I've lived in Utah a lot in my lifetime. My dad lived there, so I would always spend time back and forth, you know, living with my dad and then coming back to Washington. And it's always Utah. I was just telling my kids this yesterday. You know, the Mormons were always the craziest wild kids in school. They were the ones that would go to seminary and be all good. And then as soon as school would let out, they would be the ones having fucking 3K kegers. And, you know, there'd be sex in every room of the house. Like, I've seen some wild ass Mormon freaking parties. I don't think I've seen anybody party harder than the fucking Mormons. And they all have money. That's what I was telling my kids. So when you live in Utah, you're either Mormon and you have money, or the rest of them are just poor. That's the way I saw it. Anyways, I don't see this going anywhere. The porn industry in the United States is, billions and billions of fucking dollars, especially with the way our kids are nowadays. Oh my God. Just crack open X for a second, or watch something on Netflix or fucking, any of the streaming, Hulu. These kids have been sexually exposed by our mass media since the day they were fucking born. We're not getting rid of it. Is Yona in the chat? Did I see that? Yona? Mr. Yona. How you doing, Yona? How you feeling? If you guys didn't know, Yona had got into a pretty bad accident. Fucked up his back, from what I understand. So if you're out there, we're sending you love from the trailer park. We hope you're feeling better. Hey, Grey Walker, what's up? I see Snorky. Professor Snork is in the chat. What's up? And Popeye, good to see you, Popeye. It's been a while because I've been out and about. Smoke 'em the weeds. Welcome. Good morning. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. I hope you're out there smoking tough. You guys know I'll eventually get back to marijuana. As bad as my arthritis has been lately, I've really been considering going back on RSO. The painkillers, I can take painkillers all day long. Today, I've already had 30 milligrams of morphine and 30 milligrams of Percocet, and I'm still in pain. So and your body just builds up a tolerance to opiates to where eventually it's not going to do shit. So broke the C1 vertebrae in the neck, new x-rays in 2 weeks. Yay, neck brace. Oh, Yona, I'm so sorry. So if you guys didn't know, Yona's new username is Smoke 'em the Weeds. Smoke 'em are the Weeds. I'm so sorry, Yona. That sucks. That fucking sucks. I can't even imagine the amount of pain you're in, because my L1 is got the cancer in it. And yeah, you are so resilient. I know you're going to come back, and I hope that you're taking the time while you're down to do some creative. You are so creative, Yona, and I hope that, you can spend some time writing some music or just doing some art that you love, I take the time when I'm down to just try to, do something that makes me happy. Do something that makes you happy. So sorry for you, Yona. And you will start to feel better soon. I know you will, because we're sending good thoughts from the trailer park. Okay, so this one is a long clip, but Oz sent it to me yesterday, and it was kind of, you're going to agree with a lot of what's being said here, but basically this is telling truths to push people to the other side of the political spectrum so you can screw them over with different truths, right? So hopefully I can speed this one up. We'll see if we can speed it up, but yeah, this is crazy. This is about California.
What's responsible for Gavin Newsom having a $12 billion deficit is the following. The highest income tax in the United States at 13.3 of any state. I think it's the 6th highest sales tax, the highest gasoline tax, the highest priced gasoline, the highest priced electricity, half the nation's homeless, nearly half the nation's illegal immigrants, 200 to 300,000 of the professional class and upper middle class leaving per year, schools that are rated in the bottom 10 of the 50 states, a poverty rate about 21%, almost like Appalachia. That is the problem. And what caused that problem? You have from La Jolla to Berkeley, about a 50-mile radius of the ocean, some of the wealthiest people in the world. And you can calibrate that by real estate or zip codes or anything. And they have created what they feel is heaven on earth, a utopia. And they're not subject to the consequences of their own ideology. So what does that mean?
I love that. They are not subject to their own ideology. Yes, I see that so much where I fucking live. These local Democrats that drive fucking Teslas and live in beautiful houses on the fucking bluff of the fucking Strait of Juan de Fuca, they come into our Democratic committee meetings and they tell us that we've got to save the trees and we got to stop using oil and we got to do this and we got to do that. But at the end of the day, who's it hurting? It's hurting the working freaking poor. So not to keep ranting here, we'll keep listening. But I love that. They're not subject to their own ideology.
We shut down a nuclear power plant. We shut down some oil plants. We put all these solar farms in. We have an excess of solar energy in the daytime. And then we pay expensive imported energy at night. We thought we were going to store it at Moss Landing. We had 2 catastrophic fires, cost over $1 billion. We've thrown down a rat hole, $30 billion for high-speed rail, not 1 foot of track laid. It's the most mismanaged and incompetently managed state in the union. It's not all Gavin's fault. He inherited that from Jerry Brown. And all of these people, when they destroy the state, they all go off to a pleasant. Dianne Feinstein had a big, beautiful home on the shores of Lake Tahoe. Barbara Boxer went down to Rancho Mirage and had a beautiful place. Kamala Harris lives in Brentwood. Gavin Newsom just bought a big, beautiful home in the Bay Area. Jerry Brown is on his Grass Valley off-the-grid estate. So that's what they do. Nancy Pelosi can't decide whether she'll go to her mansion in San Francisco or her palazzo in Napa Valley. But they are the people who did this. They did not care about the average Californian, whether their schools were safe and competitive. They didn't care whether they could afford gas. They didn't care whether they could afford timber and lumber. They shut down the timber industry. They're shutting down the refinery industry. They didn't care that 1/4 of the population is not, or will not pay their power bill. That's it. He will not touch any of those issues, not one. So he'll just blame Donald Trump, and he'll kind of say, we can't afford to give any more free health care to illegal aliens. That was his idea. And he will tinker around, and he'll do his little jazz with his hand and his slick hair, and he'll say that he's going to the middle and he's preparing for 2000. But he won't ever undo the damage that he and Jerry Brown and other leftists have done. Because
Okay, so he goes on for the next 20 minutes saying how that's why you need to vote for Republicans if you're living in California. Now, you and I, we fly above the duopoly, and we know that voting for Republicans is just going to swing the pendulum completely the opposite way. It is not going to help the working poor. It always comes back to bite us in the ass. But, you know, let's talk logging. You guys know I have been bitching that old growth timber has been leaving the Olympic Peninsula since Trump got elected. I would say within 4 weeks of Trump being elected, I started seeing logging trucks leaving the peninsula with huge old growth. And you know old growth when you've grown up in the forest, you know the average size of a 30-year-old tree versus a tree that is 120 years old. And it finally, finally the Trump administration came out and admitted that they had opened up public lands for logging up here. And I brought you that report one of the last few times that I was on. And just in the last 2 weeks, I want to say, we have had some of the tree activists show up. And we now have a young woman who is, I want to say, 75 feet up in one of the trees trying to save one of the lower Alwa forests. And the local police are constantly fucking with her. You know, she's up there, so they won't go get her. And then the activists that come in and try to send food up to her, they fuck with them. If you go past the gate, they'll arrest you. I'll do a story on it. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. She's still up there as far as yesterday. I saw she posts. She has an Instagram where she posts live from being up there. So I'll get you guys all that information. Maybe I'll do a story on Beauty and the Boomer this weekend about it. Just giving you guys all the information if you want to follow it, you know. These forests are, renewable. We have renewable forests, but why do we got to go after what little bit of old growth is left is my take on it. We have plenty of other forests that are 30, 50, 60 years old that we could be logging. You know, it's all about profits. That's, and as far as I understand, I think the tribe owned this land, but I think somehow the Fed came in and capped them and is taking the lumber. So I don't know. Like I said, I'll do a better in-depth dive of it. But the lumber industry has kept where I live alive. That's what fed our mills, shake mills, and this wouldn't be a town. This wouldn't be a community if it wasn't for the timber industry. And regulations have been good, but they've also hurt us. So yeah, I'll do a deep dive on it. We're getting a little long today. Let's see. Are you a Democrat or a Republican? Yeah, they can both go fuck themselves. They can. I got this from True Stream Media. Do you guys remember the Nike commercial, Just Do It? I think that's what this is based off, if I remember right. Let's check it out. How it started, 1997.
Here's to the crazy ones.
Oh, Gary Sinise.
The misfits. The rebels. The troublemakers. The round pegs in the square holes. The ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones...
Is that Richard Dreyfuss?
We see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Okay. No, it was an Apple commercial. I'm sorry. It was an Apple commercial. Corporation. How it's going.
Here's to the normies, the emulators, the conformists, the people who wouldn't be able to make trouble if AI generated them an easy-to-follow trouble recipe in bulleted list format at a third-grade reading level. The round pegs, oh so comfortably smushed into round holes. Those who can't see anything unless they're told to. They're good at following rules, no matter how nonsensical those rules are. They are the status quo. You can't quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. They're perpetual victims who will get offended, like really offended. They're literally shaking. About the only thing you can do is try to ignore them because they will never change a damn thing. They don't invent, they don't create, they don't have an inner monologue. They only care about the current thing. And that's only because they were told to. They hold the human race back, but don't tell them that. They're still literally shaking. When they stare at a blank canvas, they see a soulless pile of AI-generated Ghibli slop. If they ever find themselves sitting in silence, they immediately fill it with mainstream talking points. When they gaze at something, they have to check whether or not the identity the media fed them wholesale has an opinion about it they can adopt. We make tools for these kind of people. While some see them as the body-snatched hive mind zombie Borg which will suck humanity into a neo-Dark Ages, we see marks to control and profit to be made. Because the people who are dumb enough to try and uphold the status quo at this point are basically a cross between a zoo animal and a battery to us.
Don't think.
And harvesting human energy keeps this matrix fed, baby.
Isn't that what Amber's always saying? We are the human batteries. A couple of things in the chat I want to shout out. Yona says, cutting old-growth forests destroys the natural lungs of the earth and should be a crime against humanity, for it ruins children's inheritance we are the caretakers for. Absolutely agree. They are the lungs of the planet. I mean, look at what's happening with the rainforest. Those are the lungs of our planet. And over on... oh, it's Ray Liotta. Thank you. I was like, who was the second voice? It was Ray Liotta. Good call, Indy. Indy's on it today. Let's see. Spirit of the Ages says to grind up bones. Is that what I read? And put it in water for arthritis. That's a good idea. I'm trying to find it. Sorry, guys. Cocaine. And I had a broken nose, a liquid version, adjusted nose. Trying to find it. Anyways, yeah, that's good advice. I do need to start doing things to help my bones and my joints. This is the first time I've had to deal with arthritis. I became old overnight, but I appreciate everybody giving me tips, and I use them. I do. You guys send me so much information, and speaking of sending me stuff, I got a package yesterday from Halo Benson of cards going out to Senator Murray, Senator Cantwell, President Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and another one to President Trump. So I always fill these out and get them sent off. She takes the time to send them to me, so I get them out there. Turmeric. I tried turmeric, and turmeric was protecting the cancer cells. My naturopath doctor told me no turmeric, because if I was trying to cancer tumors have like a hard shell on them, like they're like an eggshell, and you can't kill the inside if you can't get into it. Cancer is very, very smart. It knows how to protect itself. So I know turmeric's great for a lot of things. It gives me heartburn though. I will tell you that. But yeah, turmeric works great for a lot of things. I've heard collagen, people telling me to do collagen, eat Jell-O. Like I've heard all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I need to do some more research on it. Moving on, we've got a huge deck. We're not even a quarter of the way through it. I'm going to skip this just because we've seen it before. Sorry, Oz. So who is benefiting from this little trip that Trump is taking to the Middle East? Well, wouldn't you know it, none other than Jared Kushner. I do believe that when all of the puzzle pieces fall into place, this motherfucker is going to be the Antichrist, not Elon. Just mark my words.
But here's the big picture. I think what Trump is signaling is that this is part of what he sees as the realignment, sort of the new world order, to use an overused term, that he's telling people that his relationship, our relationship as a country, is going to be closer with the Gulf states going forward than it has been ever before. And that probably comes at the price of our relationship with, say, continental Europe, that the future is in Dubai, the future is in Riyadh, the future is in Doha, the future is not in Frankfurt or in Paris.
Look, in his speech this week, Trump insisted that he is a peacemaker and a unifier. He's talking up this potential nuclear deal with Iran. Do you believe he can be the person to finally bring some peace to the region?
I believe it is God's job to sit in judgment, my job to defend America, and to promote the fundamental interest of stability, prosperity, and peace. That's what I really want to do.
President Trump revealing the part that faith plays in his governing style, both during that trip to the Middle East this week and informing his America First policy more broadly. Very interesting.
But now Trump's personal fortune has grown by over $3 billion since taking office, much of it thanks to Gulf states. Just 6 months after leaving office after Trump's first term, Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, his brand new, no experience private equity firm, Affinity Partners, got a $2 billion investment from the Saudi Public Investment Fund, whose board thought that it was a really bad idea, but the fund is controlled by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who's buddies with Kushner. The New York Times reported that analyses deemed Kushner's firm unsatisfactory in all aspects. Unsatisfactory in all aspects.
Yeah, it's MSNBC, but it's kind of crazy that Trump has made so much money, and now so is his son-in-law, who is a huge Zionist, huge. Uncle Benji, Benjamin Netanyahu, would stay in his room when he'd come for visits. Don't forget. So to think that Trump is shunning Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu with this Middle East deal is just delusional. It's delusional. Stop. Even Jeffrey Sachs and Judge Knapp are falling for this crap of Trump is bringing peace to the Middle East and he's going to recognize a Palestinian state. No. And if he does bring peace to the Middle East, well, then you need to read the book of Revelations, because that's crazy. Jack H says, don't mow the lawn till after May. The bees need it. I have it, mostly because my fucking new lawnmower doesn't want to start. It started and then it died, and my sweet little neighbor came over and trimmed the front for me yesterday. Such a sweetheart. But guys, we've had a 75% decline in our honeybees this year. It's big news. Like, where are the bees going? Well, could it be the chemical pesticides that we're killing them with? That's my guess on it. Maybe I'll bring a story about that on Saturday. Jared looks like a serial killer. I agree. He does, right? You guys know I'm obsessed with the serial killers. Truth violates media. Let me see if I can throw you a wrench. Oh, I can. Good. I'm wrenched up wherever I'm at. I need to get logged back into Beauty and the Boomer. Anyways, yeah, I'll do a report on the bees, because it's such big news. It's hitting the mainstream media. Like, where the fuck are all the bees? Now, I've noticed that we have the yellow jackets out there, the hornets or the wasps, whatever you want to call them. But as far as honeybees go, I haven't seen a lot. And I have a ton of flowers. I went really flower heavy this year. So I just wanted beauty all around me. What can I say? I think this is another Trump one. Let's hear what Trump has to say. Israel, Hamas, a conflict and ceasefire negotiations. Trump is going to bring peace to the Middle East so he can get a Nobel Peace Prize.
On the way back.
Every psycho needs one.
Not doing it this time. Obviously, the Israel-Hamas and what's happening in Gaza is driving a lot. How do you see that? Are you frustrated at all with Prime Minister Netanyahu?
No, look, he's got a tough situation. You have to remember there was an October 7th that everyone forgets. It was one of the most violent days in the history of the world, not the Middle East, the world. When you look at the tapes, and the tapes are there for everyone to see. So he has that problem. That problem should have never happened. Now, if I were president, that problem wouldn't have happened because Iran had no money.
Remember, this is before he got elected.
And they weren't giving money to Hamas. In fact, I remember.
Yeah. Flashbacks. You know, he can say whatever he's saying now, but we've got the records. We got the receipts. Craig Pasta Jardula, who I hear is live. Hey, Pasta, what's up? Always getting love from my fams over there. I haven't done a show with Pasta or Fee in a long, long time, probably since my cancer fundraiser. Anyways, Pasta says Trump administration is working on a plan to permanently relocate up to 1 million Palestinians from Gaza to Libya. And Pasta says Trump is mad at Netanyahu. Then why is he continuing all of the supplying arms and now doing the dirty work for the Zionist nation? Yes. Right on, Pasta. You guys can go watch Pasta, or you can come back and watch me later. I don't feel bad because those are my fams. I love them over there. I got a great feast set coming up for you. We're relocating 1 million Palestinians to Libya, and the other 1.1 million? And the other 1.1 million? Yeah. What about the others? This is just relocating them. That's not their land. This is crazy to me. Trump wants to be the peacemaker, though. Jeffrey Sachs seems kind of pissed off in this clip. I don't remember when this was taken, but let's hear what he has to say, because you don't ever see Jeffrey really in this kind of demeanor.
So, if you want to know which country violates international law most consistently in the world, by far an order of magnitude above the rest, it's the United States of America. Almost everything the United States does in foreign policy these days is illegal. The tariffs are illegal because we have a World Trade Organization system. The United States just walked out of the Paris Climate Agreement, telling the rest of the world to go to hell on this. The United States walked out of the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty in 2002. The United States never signed even, and much less ratified, most UN major treaties of the last 30 years. The United States,
an invasion, though. It's not like.
And the United States invaded far more countries than Russia ever has or ever will. The Iraq War, where is that? Was that international law? Well, wait a minute. It's not just Iraq. It's Iraq, it's Syria, it's Libya, it's Serbia, it's Afghanistan.
Yes.
Tell me about international law. Tell me.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you that Russia looks at this and sees a complete imperial behavior by the United States, pushing a 900,000-man Ukrainian army on its border and putting missile systems in Eastern Europe. And then you quote international law to me after the United States has invaded and overthrown dozens of governments. Was the coup in Maidan international law? No. That was an absolute threat to Russian security in violation of international law. So my point is the following. Both countries violate international law, but if you want to know who provoked this war, that's the United States. And why do I say that? Because the U.S. has been the powerful country for 30 years, and it has used its power aggressively and illegally. By the way, the U.S. sanctions about half the countries in the world. Those sanctions are illegal. They're against international law. Every year, the UN General Assembly votes that these are illegal. So
we hear that sanctions have been lifted on Syria. Did you hear that? I heard that this week. I just lost my train of thought on what I was going to say about this. Jeffrey Sachs, I don't know why he's buying into this narrative that there's going to be a Palestinian state. It sounds like they're just going to try to relocate them. And is China dropping aid? I see videos that say China's dropping aid. I don't know if it is. I can't confirm it. Either way. Peter Dow says, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think we should be fighting wars on behalf of Israel. Bernie Sanders says, Hamas began this terrible war. Israel has a right to defend itself. What is happening? Yeah, the world's been kind of turned upside down, but it doesn't really. They're all elected officials. I mean, the Bernie people just need to freaking stop. Please stop, please. My news feed over on Facebook, it is so disgusting. Every day, these people thinking that Bernie and AOC are doing something. They're not doing anything. I mean, these bills that they bring will never have support. They're platitudes. They're just blowing them up your ass is what they are. Susan Sarandon, can we just say she's probably the best person in Hollywood? Susan Sarandon, among the hundreds to urge the BBC to release the delayed Gaza film. Open letters signed by more than 600 industry figures say a corporation is failing in its journalistic responsibility. It absolutely is. Look at this cool throwback picture I found of Susan Sarandon with David Bowie. How fucking cool. How cool is she? She's so cool. Yeah. Peter Dow is kind of redeeming himself. Peter Douche. Yeah, we do call him Peter Douche. We used to call him Peter Douche, but he has been redeeming himself the last, I'd say, year and a half maybe. We've brought a couple of things from him. Maybe he's understanding what's really going on. Okay, so moving on to Fee says. Fee did an amazing panel with Vanessa Beeley. I don't really know this channel, but they did a great interview, and I love what Fee has to say. If you don't know, Fee is currently living in Moscow, working for RT, and traveling the world, reporting on the real news. And you want to know what's really happening in the Middle East and in these other countries? These are the women and reporters to freaking listen to. They're on the ground. Vanessa Beeley has been into Gaza. She's been into these places. Syria. She knows what the hell is going on. And doesn't feel like beautiful. Spring in Moscow is so agreeing with her. I just love it.
Well, she said a lot there that's crucial. And I just want to add on a couple of points. What I've seen in West Asia, the same thing that plagues Latin America is this, when you are, and speaking also as a Latin American, when you are suffering, as Vanessa said, from the sanctions, from the economic turmoil, you are not always aware of where it's coming from. And the easiest and closest thing you have is your government. And with the mounds and mounds of propaganda that exists in favor of the United States, in favor of the West as the saviors of society. Oh, perhaps maybe if we get more foreign investment, maybe we will have better paying jobs. Maybe it's great that the US comes in with their business. This is what people are told in a lot of these societies, and especially what I've seen in Latin America as well. And that's how you have the contingents that kind of support entities in the West that are actually acting against them, robbing the resources of these countries, very mineral rich countries in South America and Central America, all over Africa and West Asia, but ending up being poor, right? This is like what we call the global South. But why are they poor? Well, because that is the state they are meant to be kept in. And they're also meant to be kept in a status of any hatred that's developed from these sanctions. For example, Venezuela, the hatred goes directly to the president, the same way we saw in Syria. And so there is also this idea that Vanessa and I have discussed, I think, several times, where there's the colonized minds, even within the anti-imperialist sectors, where there's this desire, and I have a huge problem with this, there's this desire to get the Western chauvinistic image to represent your cause, whether it's the Palestinian cause or whether it's any other cause of quote unquote anti-imperialism. You're going to the same type of Western male chauvinistic viewpoint. And I'm not saying that people who are Western and males can't have a good viewpoint. That is not what I'm saying at all. And saying this, by the way, isn't wokeism, because that's essentially what it's going to get called. But what I am saying is that these
Vanessa laughs.
things exist. These presentations exist. These internal self type of hatred, this self type of complexes exist in a lot of Native populations.
Yeah. I love what he had to say. That was a 2-hour long, God, what was the name of that channel? I'll figure it out. It's like Brit something or Bent something, but they've only got like less than 10,000 followers, but it was a great interview. I love hearing from both of these ladies. He did a great job of covering the 80th Moscow victory parade. I didn't see that, but I bet she did. I'll bet she did. Because we all know Russia won that. It wasn't the United States and the Allies. Come on. It was Russia. We all know it. Great job, Fee. Sister Fee. Know your local gang member. So tyrannical clothing. Let's see. Mark of affiliation. Heavily armed, aggressive, extremely violent, well organized in large numbers. Indoctrination of criminal valor. Beware. Beware. What is up with the coloring on my deck? I don't know what the hell happened, but for some reason my coloring keeps freaking out. Capitalism has told us that the American dream is becoming a mega millionaire or even a billionaire. The American dream should be collectively building a society where nobody starves or goes homeless and everybody is treated equally, fully insured, and paid a living wage. Remember, you are always closer to being unhoused than you are to being a billionaire. Sad but true. It's so crazy where I live. The prices for homes, for rents, to buy property. Like, I put a post up this morning about dying. You can't afford to be buried if you're poor. What is it? $3,000 at the least to get cremated. You are not getting a plot in the ground. If you're poor, you can't afford to buy a house or a property when you're alive. You definitely are not getting a plot when you are dead, which is kind of sad. Some of us don't want to be cremated, but we have no choice. Let's see. One of America's biggest companies is imploding. Yeah, that would be none other than the United Health Group. One of America's biggest corporations and members, executive Dow Jones Industrial Average, is suddenly unraveling. We can thank Luigi Mangione for pointing that shit out, right? Did he take the whole company out? Maybe. We're going to keep an eye on that trial. Oh my gosh, the charges they're going after him with, that's been crazy. I don't have any updates for it, though. I don't think there's anything really going on. Human composting, Vic says. Yeah, that's the way we should be going. We have a crematorium that here, right where I live kind of right on the outskirts of an industrial park, and there's a bunch of industrial companies, and there's a place where they cremate people, and apparently they send all of the people from Seattle over here to be cremated. They don't have any crematoriums over there. That's just mind-blowing to me. But there's been a lot of talk about the toxins that are released into the air locally here that settle down the dust from having these people cremated in our area. It kind of freaks me out. Like, I grow stuff. I grow tomatoes. I grow vegetables. I don't want to be eating the leftover toxins of some dead person. Just seems a little creepy to me. Anyways, Luigi's second victim, says Salty's Digital Dive. Yeah, definitely. I think, we know that all of these are predator corporations. All of the health insurance industry is predatory, and they're just the top tier, right? There's many other companies that need to be exposed for the same thing. I've been spending too much time chatting with the chat today, man. I'm not keeping up with the deck, but that's okay. I'd rather talk with you guys than talk about, the clips that I brought. Anyways, let's talk about the cost of things in America. I think Oz might have sent me. Oh, no, I found this one and Oz sent me the next one. This is the cost to have a couple of wisdom teeth pulled here in the United States. This is freaking mind-blowing.
So healthcare in America. Today, I was quoted $9,600 for the removal of 3 of my wisdom teeth. $9,600. The woman said it was $8,000 for the removal of 3 of my wisdom teeth, and then it was an extra $1,600 for the anesthesia. And I said, okay, how much is my insurance going to cover that? I have insurance. And she said $300 a tooth. Oh, wow, how generous. And I said to her, I said, hey, so my brother had just got his wisdom teeth removed 3 months before me, and he paid $3,300 for everything, no insurance at all. And she was like, oh, well, where did he get that done? And I was like, well, in New Jersey. She was like, oh, well, you know. And I was like, what, is it more expensive because I'm getting it done in New York? And she was like, you know, no, I don't know. So I'm basically like, hey, I can't pay for this. Like, I can't afford this. Can you cancel my appointment? I'm just going to deal with fucked up teeth. You know, I'm going to deal with the pain. I literally cannot afford this. And she was like, well, what if we set up a payment plan? And I was like, okay, well, what would that look like? So then she ran all my stuff. I had to tell her my salary, which yes, it's that low. And I have great credit. Okay, that's the one thing. I have great credit. I may have a really shitty salary, but I have great credit. And they denied me. And then she asked if I had someone who could co-sign. So I called my dad, crying now, actually crying at this point. And he said he would co-sign for me. He's trying to calm me down. We'll figure out how to pay for this, blah, 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 blah. And I hand the phone to her, and she was like, hey, Mr. Your daughter's a little emotional right now, which was super insulting because what do you mean?
Really?
You quoted me $10,000 for 3 wisdom teeth to get taken out of my mouth. Who wouldn't be emotional at that price? Like, that's a lot of money. So then even with my dad as a co-signer, I got denied. And then she was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, what do you mean? What do I want to do? I told you I can't afford this. And she was like, well, you really need to get this done. And yes, like, I totally understand the urgency behind me getting my wisdom teeth removed. I totally get it. And yet, so basically she was like, you know, I just want you to be comfortable. And I was like, I can't pay that. I'm uncomfortable. I don't think it should be this much money. And I think I'm going to go get a second opinion. And I kept trying to say, like, cancel my appointment, then cancel my appointment. Then and she kept saying, well, no, let's do. And then she kept saying, like, oh, I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. There is no world in which I'm comfortable paying $10,000 for the removal of 3 teeth. So I left that place absolutely sobbing because, of course, there's no world in which that is more than a semester at my college. And, like, yes, I'm going to call my insurance company. I'm going to look for another opinion, but in no world should I have been quoted $9,600 for the removal of 3 wisdom teeth. That is what it's like, health insurance in America. That's how fucking bad it is here.
Yeah, dental is the worst in America. She needs to go to the butcher, the welfare butcher that we have. We have this scam clinic with this guy from India. The clinic is so dirty. It doesn't look like anything's been cleaned in the office and since it opened. And he literally barely numbs you up, and then he just gets in there and rips those teeth out. And he just like bling bang out the door, no painkillers, hardly any numbing, like, and then he charges the state whatever he can get from him. So he's doing a volume type of thing, right? That's crazy. I mean, everybody's got to get their wisdom teeth pulled out unless you're me, which I didn't have any, which is crazy. I was just part of the population that doesn't have wisdom teeth. They were bred out of me. I don't know. But so many people suffer from wisdom teeth. That's fucking terrible. I mean, I have friends that are suffering so bad who like had their teeth removed, their bad teeth, so they could get dentures, and then the dentures don't fit properly, and then it's another $30,000 to get new one. And like, my heart breaks for them. And just, I've had so many friends that have been robbed. One of my girlfriends passed away. She spent $50,000 on implants and then died within 6 months of getting them. It was, God, her poor kids, all that money that they didn't get. Anyways, speaking of kids, do you know how much it costs to have a kid in America? Yeah, check this out. This is crazy too.
This is how much it costs to give birth in America. $44,318.41. I had my little guy 3 weeks ago, so they definitely wasted no time sending me that bill. I had a vaginal birth with epidural, no complications, and I was in the hospital for about 2 days. So I'm gonna break everything down for you guys and show you guys how much everything costs and how much my insurance did cover. A private 1-bed room and board was $10,100. Pharmacy was $89.40. Laboratory was $859. $9. My epidural was $1,845. Labor room and delivery was $10,275. Specialty services was $585, and then other services was $1,347. And that's just one bill. We have multiple bills to go through, guys. But my insurance did cover $20,353.62. And then I also still have to pay my doctor who delivered my baby. So that was $4,395.85. And that's with insurance already. I'm not sure exactly how much it would have been without insurance. And I did get another like epidural bill, and this is just for the doctor, not the epidural itself. And that is $2,060.86. And then lastly, baby boy also gets a bill too, and his bill is $12,761.30, and this is without insurance. We're still waiting for him to process on our insurance, so for now this is the cost without it. And if you're curious on how much we pay for insurance for our family of 5 now, it's $2,500 a month. We originally were paying $2,138.48 for just the 4 of us, but other than that, that is how much it costs to give birth in America. Crazy.
Hey, Elon, you want to know why there's nobody having kids in America? That's why. Oh, my God. Canada don't have dental care. Oh, really? Canada doesn't have dental care? Ugh, that's crazy. To me, it's always been mind-blowing that dental is not included in healthcare. It's a part of your body. It's a part of your health. If you have a bad tooth, it affects your whole entire body. You literally could die from a bad tooth. What the hell is going on? So I told you guys so. I told you so. I told you so. Remember when we talked about how Walmart was funneling everybody into self-checkout, and then now they're taking self-checkout away? Well, it turns out, just like we said, that if you don't have a Walmart Prime account, you're not going to be allowed to use these self-checkouts, and they're only going to have one cashier open, because that's what they've done in my local store. And yeah, here's one of the first stores to do it.
It's official, guys. Walmart has removed the self-checkout counter from my store. Now, the only people who can use self-checkout is Walmart Plus members. Now, mind you, I'm the crazy one, right? I'm the crazy one, right? This company that has hundreds of billions of dollars is now charging you a yearly fee to check out your own groceries. And now, as the lines are longest down the store, they're not going to pay more employees to work. They're not going to pay more to work. They're not going to give employees cash registers that work and are updated and efficient. Every time you come, you try and work with a cashier, they're standing there trying to get the machine to work, to work. And now you have to pay a yearly fee, and it's not even like it's cheap like Costco. It costs.
Yeah, cheap like Costco. Costco is not cheap. Costco, where I live, is not cheap. I'm going to tell you. I can't afford to shop at Costco. And for all of you who are going to say, don't shop at Walmart, food deserts, we don't have a choice. We have a choice of Kroger's, Safeway, Costco, or Walmart. And when you're poor, you can't afford a Safeway or Kroger's, and I can't afford to buy in bulk. I mean, I can go to Costco and buy 5 things, and it's $300. You know, that just, as much as I would love to shop at Costco, that's not a reality for most Americans. Good news. Doctors have created the world's first bionic eye that can restore vision. What else can it do? It starts with correcting vision, and the next thing you know, it's shooting lasers. I'm just saying, it's shooting laser. So Sarah Connor watching you use AI for everything. Yeah, she's not happy about it. She warned you. I've never been a Costco shopper. Yeah, I mean, I like Costco, but my membership was like $100 a year. And for as much as I shop there, it wasn't worth it for me. I go with friends, you know, if friends are going, whatever, I'll just go grab a few things that, you know, like, oh, cool, I can buy a bunch of garbage bags or, you know, whatever. But honestly, I can't afford it. Every single thing I pick up at Costco is $20 or, you know, $30. It adds up fast. You're a Kroger shopper. I love Kroger's. Don't get me wrong. Kroger's has great quality. but they're just expensive. Where I live, they literally cater to the rich part of town. They're in the rich part of town. So have been pigeonholed into Walmart. What is this? Oh, fluoride. Our RFK Jr. is doing a good job of getting fluoride out of shit. So FDA to ban fluoride drops. Remember those fluoride drops they used to make us all chew in the 70s as kids?
The Food and Drug Administration is taking prescription fluoride drops and tablets for kids off of the market. Those types of tablets are usually given to kids with high risk for cavities. This all comes after a controversial analysis released in JAMA Pediatrics earlier this year found that higher fluoride exposure was linked to lower IQ scores in kids. Recently, Florida and Utah passed laws banning fluoride from being added to drinking water. It's an effort that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention calls one of the 10 greatest public health achievements of the 20th century.
Oh, I actually was at a DIM headquarters. Well, they brought a doctor in, was he a dentist? I'm sure he was a dentist, but to do a presentation on how good fluoride was. Oh my God, I sat there with steam coming out both my freaking ears, arguing with him about everything. And yeah, it lowers your IQ. That makes sense because all of us kids in the 70s, they fed these to us. They fed it at school. I remember they would give them to us at school. We would have a dentist come to school and do a mouth exam on all of us and give them to us, right? They give us those little red pills to chew on, show you how well you're brushing your teeth, that type of thing. Like I had this weird root in the top of my mouth when I was a kid, that formed calcium or enamel around it. And I remember that school dentist coming in there and just ripping it out. Like, no, didn't ask my parents, didn't nothing, like no numbing it up, nothing like that. Like, oh, you don't need this. And he just ripped it out of my mouth. Crazy. What is this about? This is about the bees. The bees. I had to bust out Oz. I haven't seen this meme or this little GIF in a while. So let's hear what this one's about.
Well, the bees are dying. They were claiming catastrophic, historic losses this last year. 60 to 80% of all bees, all honeybees in the U.S., just dead. They're gone. Cornell University, they have a hunch. Their hunch is that it's neonicotinoids and pesticides in monocrop farming. Well, I'm here to tell you, I don't have a hunch. I know what it is. I went to Cornell University to get my master beekeepers. My final paper was on neonicotinoid. Neonicotinoid is a type of pesticide that is extremely strong, so it makes it extremely effective. It lives systemically in the plant. And if you have a plant with really dense tissue, like a tree trunk, it holds on to that poison for years. So if you're spraying your tree every year, it's getting more and more potent to the point where when it blossoms in the spring, if a honeybee was to feed off of that nectar, it could disorient and not even make it back to the hive, or it could just drop dead on the flower. Neonicotinoids are used in lawn sprays. If you ever have anyone knocking at your door and wanting to spray your lawn saying, oh, we don't spray the flowers, it's all affecting everything. It gets in the groundwater when the farmers spray their crops, and this is one of the main reasons that the monarch butterfly migration is depleting. It's because of these neonicotinoids. But of course, it's super effective, so people are going to be using it. You have a green lawn, you have beautiful trees, like why not use it? And the more you use it, the more your plant or your grass are dependent on it. If you stop using it, it's going to look worse than it did before. So quit spraying your grass, quit spraying your trees, find alternative ways to do it. And if you absolutely have to use some sort of pesticide, don't use a neonicotinoid. And it's hidden under these names. So remember these names, turn around your bottle, see if anything there is listed in what you're using. Quit using it.
Yeah, I don't use any pesticides on my yard or garden. I use, diatomatic earth or something like that to keep some of the bugs away. I use natural plants. I planted a lot of marigolds this year around my tomatoes. Like, there's lots of things that you can do and lots of natural remedies out there. I mean, you could Google, you can YouTube. There's lots of ways. And weed and feed. Stop using the damn weed and feed on your grass because that stays in the plant. You think that you're saving the bees by leaving your dandelions growing, but if you're using weed and feed, you're poisoning the bees, even if you're leaving the dandelions up for them. So sad. We can't live without the bees. Bill Gates unveils a new mRNA lipid nanoparticle jab for billions of cows. We're not going to be eating meat. We all know it. We will eat the bugs. Yeah, marigolds are good. I've got a ton of marigolds. You know, I had volunteer marigolds come back. How crazy is that? We're going to skip this one just because it's been played out. We all know that Facebook is manipulating us with the algorithm, making us angry, making us happy, making us sad. It's not something we need to talk about. Do you guys, have you ever ate at a Michelin starred restaurant? Any of you? I have never, right? And everybody always talks about how, they got 4 stars, 5-star Michelin star restaurant. What is that all about? I mean, these are things that the rich get to enjoy and we don't. So let's understand it and where it came from.
Have you ever wondered why restaurants really want Michelin stars? Like, Michelin is in the tire guy, like the Michelin man. What does he possibly know about good food? Well, I'll tell you what he knows, because this is probably one of the best marketing ploys of all time. So back in the early 1900s, these 2 French brothers, Edouard and André Michelin, that was my French moustache. They were in the business of selling tyres, which was great, but business was quite slow because the whole of France had only 2,200 cars in it. And the cars, they weren't being used for commuting, right? They were used for sort of, turning up to the opera in your goggles and your feathers just to look very Parisian and amazing. So they realised they had 2 ways to improve business. 1, sell more cars, sure. 2, make those rich people's tyres wear out. So Andre and Edouard, they had this idea that they would start creating these maps of France to just encourage people to drive a bit more. And on it, they included, the roads, the petrol stations, the mechanics, the garages, but also crucially, places to eat. And then eventually they started adding star rating to these restaurants. So 1 star would be if a restaurant was worth a stop, 2 would be if it was worth a detour, and 3 stars would be if it was worth a separate journey. Journey there being the operative word, because of course you would need to complete that journey in your car. Michelin literally invented gastronomic tourism just to make us burn more rubber. So if you do ever find yourself in a situation where you've just spent £400 on some edible seafoam and you're sitting in a room that smells like truffles,
seafoam.
just know it was all part of a tyre company's master plan.
I always wondered what the hell the tire company had to do with these restaurants. Well, now I know. Whatever. And have you seen the shit they feed you at those restaurants? Oh my God. No. Give me a big old freaking medium rare steak and a baked potato and I am happy. Does Taco Bell count? Hey, the new Taco Bell chalupas, they're pretty dank, I gotta tell you. We don't eat fast food too much. Sometimes when I'm in between treatments, like when I have immunotherapy, we'll run over. And I got Taco Bell last time, and I gotta say, it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. Okay, we finally made it to Conspiracy Corner. What conspiracies can we think of today? Well, let's talk about the Diddy trial and all the conspiracies there. You guys, I have followed every day of this trial. And the fucked up thing is they're not airing it live. You can't watch the inside of the courtroom on this one. But we have, there's a lot of reporters that are in, or social media people in the courtroom, and they're tweeting out kind of, constantly what's going on, what's being said. And we saw Cassie Ventura, his ex, on the stand for the better part of last week. And, really, there wasn't anything divulged that we didn't already know. Freak offs, lots of baby oil. She said there was no drugs in the baby oil because remember we all had this conspiracy that maybe there was Tootsie and these drugs inside the baby oil. She said no. Basically, Diddy just liked to please himself and sit in the corner and watch her have, relations with these male escorts. Now, you remember the male escort that was accused of shooting up Trump Tower? And he told the investigators that he was pretty much a sex slave to Diddy and Cassie, and nobody believed him. This guy's been sitting in jail for 7 years, and absolutely nobody believed him. They thought he was out of his mind. Well, she kind of confirmed that, yeah, he was there, and they did use him quite a bit, so gave validity to his story. He hasn't even been to trial yet for that Trump thing. But here's the thing. We're not getting any bombshell reveals on who was there celebrity wise, and that was the biggest part of this story, was just like Jeffrey Epstein, who was he getting leverage on? What was the point of videotaping all of these freak offs? And I believe him too. Truth violates community guidelines. I totally believe that guy now. And so yet again, they're protecting the elite. They are going to just, hush Diddy away, just like they did with Epstein. And we're never going to get the information on the honey trap, that this was. Because, come on, this was a music industry honey trap. We all freaking know it. And they're not revealing it at all. They're not giving us the info on it. But I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep watching. If anything salacious drops, I will definitely let you guys know about it. But for now, it's just the same old crap. I mean, they're charging him with RICO, racketeering, but so far the only evidence I've seen is of abuse of his partner, domestic violence, controlling, sexual. That's all I've really seen. So the state's got to do a better job of convincing the jury, I think, that this was a criminal enterprise. Unless they do. But Diddy's defense really fucking sucks. I will give you that. They keep dropping the ball, and Diddy's not helping his case one bit, because he's yelling at them and caught on hot mics, like, telling them that they suck and shit. Like, yeah, the whole thing is just... I'm kind of glad that there's no cameras in the courtroom, because it's stupid. But I am following a bunch of other trials. The Kohlberger case out of Idaho, where he allegedly killed the 4 college roommates. That one's a crazy, scary case. Now, this kid idolized Ted Bundy. He was going to school for criminal forensics, and there's just so much to that case. Like, he got stressed and left his DNA behind. He thought he was going to pull off the perfect crime, and he didn't. And it's a good thing that they caught this guy, because he could have been a serious serial killer, if you ask me. And speaking of serial killer, human remains were discovered near Taylor Swift's home, sparking more serial killer fears after 12 people have been found dead in the area. Is there a serial killer working? Yeah, the police don't want to say it. Let's see, we've had bodies in Maryland, Rhode Island, Connecticut, a couple of different places. So is there a serial killer working in those areas, or could it be leftovers from the Gilgo Beach serial killer? Because I believe Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Huberman left bodies everywhere. That guy has been killing, allegedly, because he hasn't been tried yet, for 30 years, and he has dumping fields all over the East Coast, I believe. Not even just the East Coast, because they say he might have one in Vegas, too. So I've been keeping an eye on all of the serial killers, man. They're crazy. Let's see here. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, a wedding will be the event of the summer. Holy shit, does this chick look like a succubus or what? Oh my God. I think that this has been a little altered, if you ask me. What do you guys think? Or does she really look like that? Yeah, man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. Yeah, that's what they are. And let's see, Hollywood, go F yourself. Let's see what's going on in Hollywood. Did you guys see this interview? Kid Rock blames ugly liberal women for low U.S. birth rates. Dude, that was a funny freaking interview. I had no choice but to laugh. It was fucking funny. He was over on Fox News, and he was like, you ever see the way these women look? Like, I couldn't help but laugh. Kid Rock's an idiot, but it still was funny, if you ask me. Ewok costume, $49. Chewbacca costume, $97. Dressing up to mess with my neighbor's trail cam, priceless. Dude, I would do this. This is funny. I just thought this was funny, because I would do this to my neighbors. And I think we finally made it to Me Valley. Yay! I skipped a few slides today, but I'm tired and I'm hurting. It's been 2.5 hours in the chair. I'm ready to get out of it. Let's see. First meme of the day is pointing out the bullshit. Is this bullshit too? It's all bullshit. Yeah, I love these little golden books, right? Is that what they were called? The golden books? Something like that. and a ladybird book. Everyone farts, but nanas are silent and deadly. I don't know why this made me laugh so hard, but it did. Oh, Oz threw one in here. It says, let's pretend that everything isn't fucked. Yes, let's pretend. Let's pretend. The Nana one made me laugh. That's what my grandkids call me. They call me Nana. I've been Nana for years. And look at what is going on with my color. Oz, we need to figure out what's going on with my studio and why my color is not coming through. What is going on? You can't even see this meme. This meme is green and it says fuck cancer, but it's black right now. Black is cancer. I don't know. It seemed like it was fine at the beginning of the show. I don't know. I need to figure this out. It's turning off the news and watching a serial killer documentary to calm my nerves. It does calm my nerves. I sleep to some pretty terrible shit, and then I wonder why I have terrible nightmares. Like, oh, that was a bad dream. Well, stop listening to serial killer stuff. And homeschooling science lesson went really well this week. Next week, marketing and distribution. It's a still, if you can't see it. What is going on with my coloring? So weird, because it looks fine on the computer that it's coming from, but then once it gets into the studio, it loses its coloring. So weird. Cheese triggers the same part of my brain as hard drugs. It fucking does. Oh my God. I am so addicted to cheese. It's my worst addiction. I can't help it. I love it all. Every type of cheese out there. Well, I'm not a big brie fan, but I got to do something. I don't know what to do. Yeah, moonshine was kind of our theme of the day. All our opening songs were moonshine related. I don't know why. I've drank and have you drank moonshine? Oh my God. Yeah, a couple of times when I was young, I had tried moonshine and man, talk about mess you up. My next piercing. Yeah, that's right. It's going to be a full frontal lobotomy if I have to keep watching the news. I watched something on lobotomies the other day. How terrible. They were just insane. Insane. Yeah, let's stick this needle into your brain and twist it around and see if you behave better. Of course we did. I've decided to stop wearing glasses. I've seen enough. Yeah, that's if you can't afford glasses, it works too. And we love Skeletor. Punishable by a fine illegally for a price. Punishable by a fine means legal for a price. Until we meet again. Yes, it is illegal for a price. And what the predator sees after chasing me for 15 seconds. All my inflammation. Oh my God. He'll die on his own. That's a funny meme. And let's see. Having a college reading level in 3rd grade did not take me as far as they said it would. It seemed it would. Yeah. Unless they can profit off of you, it don't matter how smart you are. You could be the smartest person in the world and they can't profit off you. You're still working at the gas station. Hi, I'm the CDC. You may remember me from such films as Honey, I DDT'd the Kids, A Little Orphan 80s, and What Happens in Tuskegee Stays in Tuskegee. Yes, that's the CDC for you. I've seen other versions of that meme before. Police don't prevent crime. They show up after it happens. Crime prevention starts with funding social programs and creating opportunities. Fact. Yes. And, oh my gosh, Oz put this on the deck. Crocs from the 80s. I used to love the jelly shoes. I think I lived in these the summer of 4th grade. And I still remember the dirt lattice work that would be on my feet after I would take them off. Like, I was so known for wearing jelly shoes throughout the neighborhood. Like, one of the neighbor kids' moms bought me like 3 or 4 pairs. She's like, oh, you love these, so I grabbed them for you. Some of my best memories start with a keg in the woods. Oh, this is true. I grew up out in the woods, and that's what we did on a Friday and Saturday night. We threw a kegger. Who's throwing the kegger tonight? And rescuing cats is like the mafia. Once you're in, there is no getting out. Yeah, no. But I've tamed 2 of them. 2 of them. We had this one little black one. He'd wander around the park screaming and crying. Oh, he had the saddest little scream, and he was all scabby and bloody. And I've managed to get him to friend me enough to where he comes and eats every day, and he's looking healthier, and yeah, he's doing much better. I named him Toothless because he looks like Toothless from the cartoon How to Train Your Dragon. And then, of course, we got Bells. A garden doesn't just grow plants, it grows peace of mind. It does. Oh my gosh. I turn on my old 70s and 80s classic rock on my my little portable speaker, and I just go out and dig in the dirt. And sometimes, my plants look good. Sometimes they die and look like shit, but whatever. I try. That's all I can do. My tomatoes are doing okay. The ones that I bought, the ones that I started from seed are all dying. I don't know why. And this makes me mad because it was funny. It's all pictures of plants. You can't really see it. And it says, to my grandchildren, I leave my 9,622,000 cell phone pictures. Yeah, plant pictures. That's what it is. Damn, I don't know what it could be with this color. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to wrap my mind around what is throwing my color off on the bottom of my deck. And first rule of camping is put up the tent before you start drinking. Yes, as we get into the summer and more and more camping is going to be happening, remember, put your tent up first. You don't want to get drunk and have to sleep on top of it. I never actually did that, but... Oz has got our card up. Oz, are we going to a biker rally for my birthday? Hell yeah. Yesterday was National Cascadia Day, so happy Cascadia to everybody out there. I don't know what song he's going to be playing, but what do I hear in my head? I hear like Steppenwolf or something playing in the background, Oz. I think that's what it's got to be. What do you guys think? Join us Saturday night for Beauty and the Boomer. Oz and I will have a brand new deck up and running, and it's my birthday. We're going to celebrate my birthday on Saturday. I'm super excited. It's been a really fucking rough, crazy fucking year. At this time last year, Fusion's mom had a dementia. We were going through hell with that. And then I know a lot more than get her situated. And 2 weeks later, I get diagnosed. And it's just, this year has just gone by in a flash for me. Born to be Wild. That's what I hear playing in the background, too. So, and you guys have been there with me every step of the way the last year. So come celebrate my birthday on Saturday night. And it's really going to be a celebration this year. No sympathy for the devil. Ooh, that's a good one too, Vic. I'm so super excited to have another birthday. As you get older and sicker, your birthday definitely means a lot more to you. Definitely. So if you guys want to help me out, all of the links are in the chat below or in the description box. You guys know where they are because you guys always help me out. Woohoo, birthday bombshell. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for joining me. Wow, you guys turned out in Groves this morning to hang out with me. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm going to get a little bit more back into the grind of being here every Monday morning now that I'm starting to physically feel better, other than all the arthritis pain. But we're working our way through that. And thanks for joining me. So I'm going to be doing immunotherapy for another 7 months. My doctor says if I can come back with no evidence of disease for the next 7 months, he will mark me in remission at the end of it. So by December, I could be in remission. How awesome is that? That's the goal. That's what I'm visualizing. That's where we're getting to, which is quite a feat for somebody with small cell. So thank you guys so much for helping me get there every step of the way. I identify as a conspiracy theorist. My pronouns are told you so. I had a told you so today. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Yona, please get to feeling better. Anthony, make sure you join us on Saturday because we got a surprise for you. We got a surprise for a bunch of you every week for the next, 4 or 5 weeks. We got some stuff for y'all. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great week. Get out there, get in the sun, get some vitamin D, get in the garden, grow yourself some veggies. Even if you don't have if you have a porch, put a pot, put a tomato in it. You'll save yourself a few bucks just growing yourself some tomatoes. And besides that, it's fun to watch stuff grow. Anyways, Oz has engineered an amazing closer for us today. Let me see, what is it? It is a Leonard and Friends, and it is Spinning Wheel. I heard this song the other day on my way to the doctor's office. I was like, oh, I love this song. I forgot how much I love this song. So that's what we're closing with today. Thanks again for joining me. And remember, you are always welcome at the trailer park.
What goes up must come down. Spinning wheel, got to go round. Talking about your troubles, it's a crying sin. Ride a painted pony, let the spinning wheel spin. You got no money, you got no spinning wheel, all alone. Talking about your troubles and you never learn. Ride a painted pony, let the spinning wheel turn. Did you find the directing sign on the straight and narrow highway? Would you mind a reflecting sign? Just let it shine within your mind and show you the colors that are real. Someone is waiting just for you. Spinning wheel, spinning through. Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel.